Be live on YouTube. And we should be live on Millions, but I don't think it works.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I should already see something. I'm watching it. I'm signed in as myself.
And I'm not. Okay.
That's right. All right. Now let me turn off. Let me turn off the clock so it's not flashing at you. All right. So we got a little pre-show here on YouTube because we're already live, all the way live.
Well, that's cool. I'll just go ahead and kick it off and let you roll the intro in a little bit because this is going to be our lineup for today. We got to talk about Nick Saban and him stirring it up today, saying that we need to unionize the CFB. What is he thinking and what is he talking about? Is it something that we really should do? Secondly, what really makes a team the GOAT? We had a guy sitting in my chair just a minute ago thinking about Miami and the Hurricanes and are they the GOAT? But really, what really makes a team the GOAT? Let's talk about it and debate it a little bit. And then lastly, we got a new segment today. It's called Start, Bench, and Cut. I'm really interested in that. JT got me on the ropes thinking about what this might be, but that is how we got it lined up. Teague's Take will officially start right after this intro.
Oh, that was great.
Whoops, you caught me right there finishing up a drink. But here we are. Man, thank you guys for joining in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube and like us as well. We really appreciate it. Man, it's a tremendous day, tremendous Wednesday out here at the Lantern Grill and Pub House. Man, it's just, we're located at 600 Court Road in Plano. You're always welcome to come out and hang out. Just got a, I got a friend. I'm going to call him a friend. Going to come out in a little bit because he wants to talk about what it is to do broadcasting. JT. So we got an action-packed deal. We already talked about the lineup. Let me go ahead and bring in my co-host right now, JT, the analytical one, aka James Teague. Man, what's on your mind today, brother?
Well, nothing. The first topic that you sent to me, I had to go look it up. I didn't know what was happening with this, so I'm interested to get it in that. But I've also been seeing some of this start bench cut stuff popping up on my YouTube feed, and I thought it was pretty interesting, and I wanted to get your take on it. And I also have a surprise question for you for the end. It's tangentially related to football, so we'll get there when we get there.
Okay, well that's fine. And we got a big stir going up on, particularly on Twitter, about what makes team the goat. I'm having I don't know if you really been paying attention or not. The polls that I have going out, but we're gonna have a 10 team bracket on what is the best Alabama team in history. Regardless of how the poll turns out, what the voting in is typically comes up with the most recent championship team. But I think we need to debate it on why people actually think that way. So let's go ahead and jump into it, though. Let's talk about this unionization thing. First, maybe you can give us a good definition of what it is to be unionized. What does that actually mean, sir?
Uh, that would have been a great thing for me to actually look up. But the way that I understand it is that when he's talking about unionizing with NIL, he is meaning that NIL money gets paid to the collective, not the individual. So it gets paid to the union, and the union divvies it up equally amongst the players in said union. and it's not a free for all, I suppose, where some players get none and some players get a lot. They're all treated equally under the unionization.
So, do you think, and that was a great explanation, do you think that he is recommending this to actually look out for the players and say that, hey, let's figure out how to pay them a little bit more equally? Or do you think it's really more of how do we level the playing field in college football? Because the money has to be the same and you can't have the rich being the most powerful
Now,
team.
I think this is a classic Saban warning shot. It's like, hey, I think this is probably better for the sport if we just go ahead and unionize this, make it like the NFL. You have the NFLPA. You get your money for being in the video game, uh, and we just cut the check, and you don't have to worry about it. Versus the Wild West that it is now, where some schools can pay a whole lot more than others. And I think, and there's some Alabama and Saban haters that will say, well, Saban is worried about losing his grip on the sport because now so and so can compete. And I think he's saying quite the opposite. Is he's basically saying, hey, if this is how you want to do it, like we can go out and just start paying people if that's what you want to do. We can make it all equal so that NIL is not a bargaining chip amongst the schools. Or I can go to my boosters and I think he's basically saying us, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, Texas, I don't know, maybe Oregon, like whoever has a whole bunch of money can just go ahead and hoard all the players, and we'll just keep beating you over the head with these players, and then you can cry about it later, or we can do something about it right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I 100% agree with that. There's a little smart remark someone said we've been doing that. I would disagree with that. I think it's pure talent on what's happening. But if we do get into that, as JT has said, it could be alarming. I don't know how many people actually really follow, and I guess it's not something that you really see or posted, but on how teams are trying to raise money for these collectives and different things. And there's no way it can be equal or fair. So without some type of unionization, but I wonder when you make that statement, how long and what are the necessary steps to actually that you have to do to become a union? How do you,
No,
you
I
know?
lost your audio.
All right, I hear me. Let me check this real fast. Let me see. No, I'm still here.
Nope, I can't hear you anymore.
Must be you. It's not me. But I'm gonna keep on chatting. So basically, I'm trying to figure out
Oh, I guess
how.
YouTube can hear you. I guess it's just me. It must just be
Yeah,
me. Um,
yeah. But
let
how am I have
me
a conversation with you if you can't hear me?
let
I guess I'll be staying here talking to John. So, John, what do you actually have to do to be a union? I don't know the real steps. I know you got government, postal. What do you do to? You just find a president or some board members and go. I don't know how this actually works. So my point in saying that is I don't know how long it would actually take to be able to do that, or is that something that they can do in a year or two to get someone to do that? And then you got to get all the players involved. They got to know all the rules, all their rights. It just there's a lot of athletes because we're only really talking about football, but you're going to have to do the same thing for softball, baseball, basketball. Everybody just getting some type of um, uh, what that it'll never happen that we'll be a union. Is that what you're saying? No, the comment was that it may never happen just because you got too many schools not equal. But I think that's the point of, as we continue to shrink. I think there's going to be, and does it have to be all of the NCAA, or can it be um, the super conference that is going to end up being at one point, where it's just these major teams and said, hey, we got the money. You're going to come in here and play. There's 25 of us, 30 of us, you know. All right, I am going to try to find JT here and see if he can hear what's going on. At least a little bit. All right, I don't know if you can hear me yet or not. So I think my board froze. Yeah, you're froze because you're not even moving on the screen. You're stuck. You're staring at me. With no blinks. It's kind of crazy. You look kind of weird. What's the whole little thing going on there? Where they someone start asking for something, and then people always act like they're froze or they're asleep.
Okay.
But
Can you
anyway,
hear me
so
now?
there you are.
Yeah, but my camera's still frozen.
What?
I said, is my camera still frozen though?
Yeah, but that's okay if they can hear you.
Okay. Well,
Okay, you're
I
not.
should be back.
You are back.
Okay. Well, then I'll just have to
See?
splice these, put these files together at the end. That'll be fun.
Well, this is what you're. Oh no, maybe I need to be calling the university or Drake University back, because all that high tech equipment you got at the house. I'm sitting up here in the bar, man. My stuff working out well. I got me a cheap little board. I got me a
Oh,
raggedy
it's
ass
not
computer.
cheap. Stop
I
that.
got me a beer. What?
It
I
ain't
got the
cheap.
hand me down board. Okay, I'm putting sympathy in here just in case someone to buy me a drink while I'm standing here. Because my son got the high expensive board at the house. I got the hand me down.
God.
I got a computer. Hold on. I got a computer that my daughter used in high school at Hebron. She's graduated college now.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I'm just saying. Look, cause somebody come up here. Look, there ain't no buttons right here. I can't arrow up. I can't arrow over. Father's Day coming up. I asked for a gift. We'll see if I
Oh my God.
end up getting that. I think I need to get in a union. Maybe they'll give us laptops for our podcast. Okay, so John Griffin said that he doesn't think it'll happen because there's too many teams spread out all over the place. Just too many athletes to try to deal with. Um, I said that maybe if they end up having a super conference that I think is going to have, that maybe just a super conference with all the money ends up getting it. But I still don't know the process. That was my whole point. How long does it actually take to develop a union? I don't know what you really have to do to get board members and
Well,
whatever.
the Supreme Court a while ago says that it won't take very long. Somebody just needs to sue.
What's very long? You know how long lawsuits last?
I know how long typical lawsuits last, but I think
Especially
I think there are some people, some litigators that are just waiting for for somebody to do it so they can fast track this and make a payday out of it.
But who would they sue? You're gonna sue the
You can sue the NCAA.
NCAA,
Yep.
but then they got to create a union. That could be a cluster.
Oh, it will be anything. I think anything that the NCAA tries to do on their own turns out to be a cluster. That's why they let conferences do whatever they want to do.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll keep watching. I know he just brought it up. It's not something that'll happen right away. Just some concepts that he likes to bring up when he goes to meetings and all that, and stir up and keep himself in the media a little bit. It is interesting. There's a lot of different things they can do, but we'll just track it and see what happens. All right. So if you guys are on social media, you can find our podcast at Teague's Take on Twitter and on Instagram. It's at Teague's Take Podcast on Facebook. We post what's going on with the shows. Make sure you join that, subscribe, like it, follow. But if you follow my page at Teague Football on Twitter and Instagram, primarily Twitter right now, I've been doing some polls with different things because someone brought up the statement that the 2020 Alabama football team was the greatest team in Alabama history. No, I wasn't hating on that. I was just trying to find out how you actually define that. They were loaded on offense. I'm not here to debate how good they were on offense. I think they were dynamic. Um, but I don't know their defense has been as good as some of the others in the past. I'm not going to say anything about 1992. That might seem a little bit biased, but there's been some other pretty good defenses. Why see you're not frozen anymore? I can see your eyes rolling now.
I didn't roll my eyes.
I can see you rolling your eyes now. So I really wanted to see, is there really a kind of a way to kind of quantify who is the best of all time?
No.
What do you think?
No, I don't. I don't think there's a way to quantify it. Mainly because, because any stat that you use is subject to the way the game is played at that current time. So, for instance, if there was a team in the 1920s that was absolutely dominant in the 20s.
1925, University of Alabama, 12-0, gave up 5 points a game.
Right. And it's like, okay, but like what was the average amount of points being scored at that time? Because in the 20s, you couldn't even throw the ball forward. It was rugby.
Probably 8.5.
So it's like, all right, you gave up 5 points. That means nothing to me. Because that would be absolutely ridiculous to give up 5 points a game today. So, even with, you can say, well, the 2020 team and Mac Jones put up all these numbers on, video game like numbers for throwing the ball. And it's like, yeah, well, again, you couldn't throw the ball forward at all until, I don't know, the 30s, 40s, something like that, whenever Herbert Hoover was president and said they had to. So I think it's very hard to compare teams in different eras. I think you can compare teams much closer together. You could probably,
in a decade?
Yeah, within a decade, probably.
I wouldn't go in a decade. The polls I started, what was the best teams in the 2000s, 2010s, 1990s, 1980s? I kind of broke it down that way first.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can probably take a sliding scale of 10 years, or I guess a sliding scale of 5 years in any direction, and have a little bit more leeway into comparing teams. But the game is different now than it was even just 10 years ago. So,
well, it's definitely different than I was playing. That was kind of one of the arguments I was making is, or maybe I shouldn't say argument. Can it be a debate on whether or not a team can go forward and still have success? Meaning, can our 1992 team come up into the 2000s, recent day, and still have the same success, both offensively and defensively? Because it's the same thing. Hey, we ran the ball a whole lot. Can you really do that? Can you be successful with that type of running game now, or is it the coaching? And vice versa. Can a team in this era go back in time, knowing the rules were a lot different, jamming receivers down the field, hitting them in the head, jamming them in the throat, all the things that were legal? Can these same type of players really manage in that? And I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think if you just drop them in there for one game and just change the rules, I don't think either one would be successful. Because there are habits and there's ways that you've been taught. Now, I think that if you took those same players and they grew up, because I think that's really what you have to try to do is like take the same players, put them 10 years earlier or 10 years back, and then have them.
Oh, sorry. I was saying I got to drop them by 10, 15 pounds too because they're not eating the chicken with the steroids in it. Get in now, so
I don't think either team would be successful in just like showing up and saying, okay, rules are different. This is what's allowed now, or this is what's not allowed now. I think you'd have to, I think it's, much like going from playing in high school to playing in college. Like, for most of the country, the rules are different. That's why, kids from what I learned was kids from Iowa did not know how to cut block. They weren't very good at it. I was the best guy cut blocking on the team because I could do that all during high school. That wasn't foreign to me. But you couldn't do it in high school in Iowa. So when they showed up at Drake and we're wide receivers going through cut blocking drills and everybody looks weird doing it except for me, it's like, yeah, well, I've been doing it forever. Cut blocking is just, that's the only way I know how to block. I don't know how to block standing up.
Yeah. So why do we have these debates then about who's the best all time? And we're talking football, but what about basketball? So we talk about LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Who's the best? Then we all get riled up and start throwing stuff at the bar. Because how many points does Jordan score if he's playing today?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Does Jordan all of a sudden just decide, hey, I'm just going to start chucking threes like everybody else does? Or not? Like, no idea.
Well, I guess it's always fun just to be able to talk about it, and we get a root for our favorite people, and typically we get a root for the teams that are in our era. I just see a lot of that. If you're younger, you're saying that the Bama teams of now are better than the ones in the past. If you're
well, of course. I mean, those are the ones that you've seen.
Those are the best time. No, they were so good, this and that. And we do try to be objective on this podcast and give factual stuff as much as possible, even though we do have our own opinions. That's why it's called Teague's Take. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm like you. I just wish we could punch in some data and have something shoot out and say, you can't run this through a simulator. Didn't you build a simulator? We can't run some 1925 teams versus.
I don't think my data goes back that far. Although I probably could. It'd be an interesting problem, but I probably could run a simulator and like put some rankings out. And I mean, I guess we'll just go ahead and tease it. So I do have rankings not only for FBS teams. I wanted to answer some more complicated questions. I wanted to answer, how good is North Dakota State really? If you took all the FCS teams and you also rank them with the FBS teams, how high does North Dakota State actually get? And I did this for every team in the NCAA from Division I, from FBS, FCS, D2, and D3. I built something that can rank them all individually, like as we normally think about it, and rank them.
Do you have a job? Do you have a job?
I do have a job.
How'd you have time to do all this? What it was?
Hey, I moonlight as a freelancer. Hey, it took me a long time. It took me a couple of years, but I did it, and it was cool to see. I mean, it was also kind of embarrassing to see how bad Drake is, like, really right now. So that was fun.
Okay, well, I guess we'll wait till season 4 to see this. Is that what this?
No, the only thing that's keeping me from doing it now is because I want to put it on our website. So if you haven't checked out teaksteak.com, you should. You can catch all the podcasts there. There'll be blogs coming soon, and you get to read a little bit more about the show. But the only thing that's keeping me from putting that blog post up is I don't want to just put a text document up there for you. I need to find all the logos and put all the logos next to all the teams' names so that it actually looks good. And there's 130 FBS teams and 500 FCS teams, and I'm not going to do it by hand. So
sounds like I need to pay somebody, because I don't know I'm going to be helping you on that. That sounds like a project from. We are a company. We are allowed to have interns, unpaid interns.
Well, hey, maybe what I'll do is I'll fire up the old Chat GPT and see if it'll write a program for me to put all the logos in there.
Well, we'll figure it out. Okay. Well, I think that was good. So, is it okay for us to go ahead and move to this? What was our title again that you just gave me? The
Sit, bench, cut.
cent bench cut. Do I need a pen to be writing down?
No. This is I got it written down. Got the good old paper pop too.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 3 players at a position, and all you have to do is tell me if you were building a team, which player would you start, which player would you bench, and which player would you cut.
Oh, I think I said sit bench cut.
Yeah, I repeated it.
Start bench cut.
Yes, start, bench, cut. Now,
What level are we on? Where this is college or
no, this is NFL,
okay.
and I want you to take these players at what you think their prime is.
All right.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups. We have enough time. I thought that we wouldn't be able to make through all of them, but here we go. First 3 wide receivers: Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson.
Trying to get me hurt. Putting a CD Lamb in here. You do know I work for CBS and I got a good relationship with the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Well, you got 2 of them on here for you, so.
Well, I'm gonna say, to me, this is an easy cut of CD Lamb.
I thought so too.
I got to put him down, and so he thinks I'm a homer. I told you we talk truth on this show. We don't just go homers all the time. I'm not a U fan. Well, they just sorry. But anyway, so to get to the start in the bench, this is really kind of interesting because their numbers are kind of same in their prime right now. Devontae is, oh man, he's just so good off the line. All right, so just to make it so I don't have to debate on it too much, I'm going to start Devontae Adams and I'm going to bench Justin Jefferson.
All right. I think I would have started Justin Jefferson and benched Devontae Adams, but that's just me. All right, corner: Jair Alexander, Sauce Gardner, Trayvon Diggs.
Oh, look at you. There you go with this mess again.
I thought this one was pretty easy.
I know. I'm saying you're gonna bench Trayvon Diggs because he can't tackle.
No.
Or I'm sorry, cut him. You're gonna cut him.
I am gonna cut him.
That's what I meant. Dude got 11 picks and 13 picks or whatever it was in one season. What did you say? Ben CD Adams traded. What are you talking about? What's the traded part?
I don't know.
You're gonna have to explain that. Realism. Okay, I'm gonna cut Diggs.
Realism says he's starting Diggs and he's putting Sauce on the bench. He's cutting Jair Alexander.
No, I'm gonna
say no shot.
I'm gonna start Sauce and Jair Alexander. I'm gonna bench. What'd you say out there? Yeah, they agree with me out here. My 3: start Sauce, bench Jair, and cut Diggs.
I'm gonna flip those. I'm gonna start Jair and bench Sauce. All right, here you go. Here's one for you. We had him on as a guest once before.
Sauce ain't come from Alabama. Jair Alexander. Okay.
Running backs.
Uh-oh.
I think this one was a little tough for me.
At least Zeke ain't playing no more, so no, you ain't got to bring him up.
Here we go.
All right.
Mike Allstott,
Ooh.
Jerome Bettis, Derrick Henry.
Ooh. I'm going.
Try to pick three running backs with somewhat similar.
Yeah, but ain't none of them like Derrick Henry, boss. That dude is slapping people in the face. You said go in the prime time. He threw a guy like 20 yards on a stiff arm. This dude's on a, I guess they don't make posters anymore, but they got thumbnails of guys in the air. So I'm definitely starting Derrick Henry. So I actually played against both of these guys, just so I'm gearing the comments out in the stands, in the bar. And I don't know if y'all what it felt like to actually hit Mike Allstott. It actually took me 2 weeks to recover. He said, "Which one trucked me? Go find the film." Neither one of them. How about that? You ain't see it. It ain't happened. Barry Sanders never shook me either.
No, I can find the clip because Barry
Sanders never shook me.
Barry was going this way and you was going this way. I seen the
ran
clip.
Past him. I was running so fast. I ran past him.
No, he stopped and went the other way.
Like that. I was like, oh man, it's like a cheetah. You know what I'm saying? You be going, then you can't really change direction right. So I was just like, woo, and then anyway. So I'm gonna start Derrick Henry.
I'm finding the clip next show.
I'm going to. Oh, this is. I think I'm gonna bench Bettis, and I'm gonna cut Allstott. I just think Bettis is a better, shiftier runner. He was more of a threat, at least to try to make you miss a little bit. Allstott wasn't gonna try to make you miss at all. It was just.
You knew what you were getting into when Mike Allstott.
Oh man, I'm glad I wore big shoulder pads back in the day. That was the one day I was glad to have them flippers, because man, I needed something. Anyway,
all right, here we go. Safeties.
Okay.
Ed Reed, Brian Dawkins, Troy Polamalu.
Ooh. Well, Polamalu was very close to the line, got a lot of sacks. Dawkins, here Reed taking him back for 100. I mean, good Lord. I think this is the day that I don't come to work. I don't know why he got that hat up. Oh, that's who you want me to cut? Just because he holding his hat up. He said Ed Reed, Brian Dawkins, and Troy Polamalu. I'm probably gonna. All right. So who's a better cover guy out of Dawkins and Ed Reed?
Ed Reed.
Man. So that's
in my opinion, Ed Reed.
But Dawkins was a better tackler.
Yes.
Polamalu just made plays. All right. So I think that I probably would. I'm starting Ed Reed.
Well, Bro, just said Reed start, Troy bench, Dawkins and Eagles. So the hell with him.
Yeah, I'm going Ed Reed. I'm going to start him. I'm going to bench Dawkins just in case Ed Reed pulls a hamstring. I'm just going to have to let you go, Polamalu. Aren't all of them in the Hall of Fame too?
If they're not, they should be.
They're all in. They're all in.
I got the same list on that one. All right, QBs.
Uh-oh.
Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen.
Man. First of all, you just want to have somebody with a J in their name at the beginning. All these.
Well, if it helps, I'll go first. I would start Joe Burrow.
Which one? You cutting Jalen Hurts?
I'm cutting Josh Allen.
Cutting Josh Allen, huh? Now you're saying and they're all about the same age, right?
They are.
Right now,
I think
at the
this is
same
more of
age.
like right now, if you had to go win a game, who you taking? I'm gonna take Joe
Still
Burrow.
gonna start Joe Burrow though.
I'm still starting
I
Joe
think
Burrow.
I think I'm gonna start Joe Burrow. He's shown some toughness. He's pulled it. Yeah. Much as I hate to say anything about Mr. LSU, but I think I would. I think I'm gonna flip. So I'm gonna start Burrow. I'm gonna bench Allen, and I'm gonna cut Hurts.
All right. Two more. Running backs. Alvin Kamara. Christian
Oh, you going
McCaffrey.
back to RBs again?
Yeah, because this is a different set of this is a different type of running back. Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley.
Oh, all of them injury prone. So shit. I'm cutting Saquon Barkley.
Really?
He's out. All in their primes. Not now. Don't get it all in when they were doing their things. I'm starting McCaffrey. And I'm gonna bench Kamara. What you got, JT? So I'm starting McCaffrey, benching Kamara. I'm cutting Saquon. He only played 1 year out of 3 years. Basically. No, we actually played.
Yeah, okay. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair list. If you got to win one game, I agree. If I had to build a team, if this was like, my fantasy league and I get him for 3 years,
You going Saquon?
I'm going Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, and I'm cutting Alvin Kamara because he's going to jail.
Okay.
He's got to stop punching people at casinos. That can't happen no more.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Dude, they got him in 4K. I don't even understand. I still don't understand how the Las Vegas police had him on camera punching somebody out before the Pro Bowl and decided, you know what, we're gonna let him play the Pro Bowl and we'll just arrest him afterwards.
Well,
That's
4K
wild.
is like the old 720p now, isn't it? We on the 8K, 16K, something else, man. That ain't even clear. 4K ain't even clear, man. I used to love when I had my 4K TV. It was like, man, I was a shit. I had, 35-inch, 4K. Now you look at 8K and it don't even compare. Anyway, we got
all right,
one
last
more.
set. Wide receivers. DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Keyshawn Johnson.
I'm starting in the primes. Okay, let me say this again though. Me and JT talked about this again. We got to find the clip somehow. But if you have not seen the fake look off on the what was it, a go route, a 9 route?
It was a go ball that DeAndre Hopkins, 25 yards down the field, while the ball's in the air, decided to turn his go route into a hitch and go. It was the wildest thing I think I've ever seen. So thank you for showing that to me, because that was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, he literally stopped while the ball's in the air, make the DB stop, and he took off again and went and cut the ball. Those are those kind of things you look at and you go, "Way, man, that was absolutely amazing." But what Julio was doing when he was in his prime, Keyshawn, he was in my area too a little bit. I'm cutting Keyshawn. I was, Jets. Suck. So he's out. I gotta take Julio. I gotta start Julio. He's just too big, too strong, too fast.
Also blocks very well.
Yeah, so I'm starting Julio. I'm a bench Hopkins. I'm gonna cut Keyshawn.
Same.
So much for me. So much for me getting on the Keyshawn. What's the name of that show? Will and somebody, whatever TV show he has on. Guess I'll never be on his show. Yeah, Max. I guess I won't be on that since I'm cutting him. But you gotta have to make sure you bleep out all the stuff where I cut the Cowboys. Make sure when you go back and you do your editing when I say that I'm
I don't edit usually. I had to edit this one because it took me like 5 minutes to get back. Now that I've mentioned, now I probably have to keep it in there because now the listener's gonna be like, wait, what happened?
Well, it's not gonna pause. It just gave me the time to do a little bit of dialogue. Gave me the time to ramble a little bit.
Yeah, but I couldn't hear you. You know, the podcast file is on my board, and I couldn't hear you. So, but anyway,
I wasn't talking about anything anyway. So
okay. the last thing I got is there's been, you know, we've had Ed on the show from PSG Talk before. He's the Tennessee fan. We also do a lot of work with PSG. And currently they have a player named Lionel Messi who's on the team. Lionel Messi is at the end of his contract. They're probably going to let him go. But there was some internal debate amongst us on the podcast over at PSG Talk about what Messi should do after he leaves PSG. I'm not going to tell. I'm going to ask you the question as if I'm going to put it into something more relatable to you, because I just want to hear what your thought process is.
Drink Fireball. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
So when you got ready to retire in 2001, whatever the reasons and circumstances were around that. If a football team, let's say, I'm trying to think of a place that might actually have a league. Japan. Let's say if a football team in Japan offered you a 2-year, $600 million a year contract.
Stop right there. What time the flight leave?
That's what I thought.
What time the flight leave? What? These people going to play for $200 down in the arena league after they only play these old crappy leagues. I'll let you finish the question.
No, that was it. Because the whole debate was one person was saying if I was Messi, I wouldn't go because I got enough money. Why would I demean myself by going and playing this other league? Don't you want to retire on top? And I was like, bro, it's a $1.2 billion contract. I don't care where it is. For 700 days of work.
Man, I'm out. I don't know. I'll probably call you after I get there. You my first child. You just know, man, where you at, Daddy? Man, I'm over here in Japan, dog, chilling, eating sushi. I'm straight.
We'll come back with $1 billion. So just wait a minute.
Tell the grandbabies to hold on. I'll be back. Yeah, no, some of those things, man, are, anytime he already has generational wealth, and it ain't always about money. I get it. But when you have something like that where you can set up your family, generational, there's all kind of things you could do charity wise. Who knows, what he wants to do. Business. You become an icon. That's when you're doing things in the business world that are unfathomable, that you're just saying, how did he get all that, in his work? And if his name is worth that, and if his skills are still worth it, and someone is willing to give it up. I honestly think if I called my your granddad and said, well, I'm not going to go take this $1.2 billion because I want to be. I think I don't know what he hit me with.
Well, so is there any? Can you think of any scenario in which somebody was going to pay you to play football for 2 years for $1.2 billion? Is there any scenario that you can think of that you would turn that down?
It had to be some country where I felt like my life was going to be in danger if I went and played. I mean, like going to, yeah. I ain't gonna say that on TV or on this deal, but
Okay, well, so here, so let me give
know.
you the country that he is being offered to play. The country that Messi is offered, that has the offer on the table, is Saudi Arabia. Now, things to know is that he is already a travel ambassador for Saudi Arabia. He is already taking money from the Saudis. Now they're saying, hey, if you just come play for one of our teams for 2 years.
Yeah, I could do it because they're gonna put him up somewhere safe. He's gonna have utmost security, I'm sure. I mean, the stadium is probably on his property. So you you ain't gotta go nowhere. Just walk out your backyard and go to practice. I would do it.
I feel like he probably doesn't even have to go to practice, to be honest.
What do they gain out of it? I'm really just curious. We're talking about him, but if you can give someone that much money, is it just because they want to be big shots and say they came? These are some pretty affluent people over there, depending on who owns this team. It's probably somebody that owns a bunch of oil.
Yeah. A lot of times it's state sponsored. As a matter of fact, PSG is owned by a country. They're not owned by a person.
Oh.
So
I got to worry about you when you start getting paid over there on who you taking money from?
No, I don't get paid.
That's once you guys start rolling in some cash over there or something. But okay, no, that was interesting. But no, I'll take the money. That's an easy one. That's not.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, I was confused. So another deeper discussion is, what does it really mean to retire on top? We had some internal debate on what that really meant too. On retiring on top, does that mean
when you retire after your largest contract?
Okay, well then most of us are on the same page then.
Well, no, I went out when I was supposed to went out. Not necessarily how you played. Look, when I retired, I hadn't really talked because I could have played more, and it wasn't like I was going to go to a bad team, but it was more of what you said there of what is that going to look like? What was training camp really going to look like for me? Do I have a chance of getting cut? Take a little bit less money to try to play, 1 or 2 more years. A lot of benefits. I think I mentioned it to you, JT, that there's a big difference in playing 9 years in the league and 10. Huge difference as far as retirement and the benefits that you're getting. That's why, a lot of us were getting cut at 9 deliberately or not getting that 10-year deal. I'd already passed up to 3, so it was to try to get to 10 after that. So that was in the back of my mind. I'm like, man, I'm not going to go be a camp body up here and then just go, well, the amount of money we're going to have to give him to maybe perhaps be a backup or something. I wasn't going to work out for 3 weeks and get cut.
Right.
So I was out on that deal. Man, wonderful show, man. I love that segment. I think it was totally awesome. I hope we're able to do that. I don't know how often you plan on doing that, or if that's something we need to continue doing. That's
what
fun.
Start bench cut. I think that's yeah. I can start come up with more of those. Some of them I stole. I'll just be honest. Some of them I saw. And it's like, oh, those are good ones.
No, hey, I don't care where you get the info from. I think it's a good topic. We can do that. Those are fun. Those are really, really good. So maybe we need to do that. I don't know, once a month or something. We figure it out. But look, man, it's been really, really good. I do have some grandkids at the house.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So yeah. So I gotta get yeah. They like, what are you doing?
I'm leaving to go to San Antonio at 4 a.m. That's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. They said the wedding's not till like next Tuesday. So why
That's not true. The wedding is on Friday, but the bachelorette party is tomorrow morning, and I'm the driver.
Boo! You said bachelorette.
Yeah. So they're gonna go float. No, they're gonna go. I'm gonna drive her down there, her and her sister, and then they're gonna go and float on the river and whatnot. And me and the father of the bride and my father-in-law and some other people are gonna go to the river walk or something while they're doing that.
I wish you could see how these people looking at you, because there are Ubers, limousines, black car service, and you make a little bit of money. So I know you ain't tripping that you need to be sitting out on 6th Avenue in San Antonio waiting for them to get off the lazy river.
I'm not just gonna be sitting. I'm going to eat and bar.
Okay, that's Thursday. The wedding Friday. Then Saturday is what?
I don't know.
Walk again. You're the designated driver again. Yeah. Come on, man. That's all right though. I'm gonna have a good time. We're good. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to spend the time with the babies, and plus it keeps me from having to go do a little bit of work on Friday, because I was gonna have to do some work on Friday, but told John I was out. So thank you, James Knox. We do appreciate it. We appreciate everybody for coming on in and listening to us tonight. It has been a great show. It'll be 2 weeks before we get back on. I'll be out here at the Atlanta one more time. Until then, hit subscribe, hit like. We'll see you later.